Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is great to be seen. It's great to see everybody. I see you coming in on all the platforms. As usual, just throw up where you're coming in from and maybe the business that you're in. One of the whole points of this show is for us to hang out with each other, do business with each other, and get to know each other. So, good morning. Good to see you, Julie and Bryce. It's good to see you, and it's been a couple for all of you that are joining us this morning. My apologies for the last two Saturdays. I was on the road and none of my technology worked, and that was the first week we tried to do this. There was no sound. I thought I had everything handled, but then and then after that, the next weekend we had the Wi-Fi wouldn't pick up. We were in a place that didn't have great Wi-Fi, I guess. But welcome everybody. My name is Jason Cisneros, and this is another episode of Built to Exit, where we talk about your business, where we talk about strategies and the challenges of being a business owner and getting together and having conversations, doing business with each other, banding together as a group of merchants. I like to use the word merchant because it harkens back to the beginning of time when the first egg was traded for the first goat. We've been changing the world ever since, and we don't hang out together enough. It's been interesting. I just want to give a few shout outs. I have been on the road for the last 6 weeks. I'm home for a couple of weeks and then we go back out again. But some of the events that I was at, XYPN in Austin, Texas, that was an event for wealth managers. That was a fantastic event. I just want to give them a shout out. I was treated like royalty, and the event was top notch. I mean, if we picked up some things. We've got a couple of events that we're going to be rolling out in 2026. And boy, oh boy, did we learn a lot from the professional way that XYPN ran their event, DealCon, which was also, it was 2 weeks earlier, but it was also in Austin. What an amazing group of human beings. What an amazing event. That was M&A. That was for M&A specialists, people that were looking to sell their businesses, and people that are acquisition experts. And that's Tom Shipley and his wife Pam and his daughter Ayelet, and all of the amazing people that have now become part of our team in the M&A space. And so let's see, what else did we do? Oh, we went to Dallas. We got to do some TV at Mercury Studios. What an amazing place that is. Mercury Studios. That's the home of Glenn Beck and his show. And we shot a show there. We're going to be shooting multiple more shows there. It was on a TV show that's called Be the Giraffe. A gentleman by the name of Chris Jarvis. Look him up. He's going to be on my show here very, very soon, and him and I are exploring writing a book together. So, and then on to Mach 5, which was amazing. Mach 5 was for home services businesses, roofing and HVAC and all of the home services industries that you could possibly imagine. And that was put on by the very unique Steve Rosenberg. And so that was really, really great. I'll tell you, here's what I got out of it, out of the last 6 weeks. And then for those of you that are looking for where we're going, you can always go to jasoncisneros.com, look at the events where we're going to be next. I'll be at Wealth Mastery in Arizona and Phoenix area, coming up the day after my birthday on October 23rd. And, so on and on and on. And then I think we go to Virginia. We've got something that we're doing up in the Portland area as well. So just keep up to date. We'd love to see you. One of the greatest things about doing this show and being in this family of people called small and mid-sized business owners is the ability for us to be able to connect as the kids say, IRL, right? In real life, for us to be able to sit down, have conversations over a cup of coffee, sometimes a little bit of tequila, So those are this is the reason. It's to build that community for us to hang out with each other. If you happen to be a consultant and you're looking to increase and improve your ability to do what you do, we're looking to grow the team. We have, we certify strategists once a year. That'll be coming up in February. We've got almost a full class of people coming in there. We have a lot of great strategists that work with us right now. And then we're going to be doing our own event next year. And it's going to be great to bring everybody together. But the whole point, as I said, is for us to get together. This show today, I've got some shows that are going to be some hardcore. Here's what you do about specific things. I've got a lot of really, really great interviews coming up with some powerhouse business people, and so I wanted to take this opportunity before we start stepping into a little bit of the new formatting of the show. We want to add an immense amount of value to you so that you can take these podcasts and you can actually apply them to your business and do things with them in your own company. And that means we're going to shorten when it's just me solo. We're going to shorten these things, have them be more impactful. Every once in a while, I've asked my team to allow me to do one of my Jason Cisneros rant shows, just to kind of keep that part of my spirit alive and give it an outlet. And then on the interviews, you're gonna see a tremendous amount of value. People that we have worked with throughout the history of my business, and people that you're gonna want to learn from, people that are in your industry. You can always send suggestions if you know of somebody that would be great on this podcast and would be a great interview to add value to our family here at the B2X in our B2X ecosystem. We would love to hear that. Just DM us, let us know if you want to be on the show, if you think you've got a great story that would add value. We'd love to hear from you. But I wanted to go through, again, being with thousands of business owners over the course of the last 6 weeks, reminds me that we're doing something important. The end game, for those of you that are new, and I know there's a lot of you now that are joining this podcast. I see a lot of you popping up on the different channels, and a lot of new people. I just want to welcome you to what I feel like is the greatest group of people on the face of the planet, and that is the business owner. I think, we're less than 10% of the world. We have changed the world. There is nothing that we're experiencing. The lights and the technology in my studio, to the house, to the whatever you're watching this on, to the cars that you drive, all of these things are only available to the world because a small and mid-sized business owner decided to innovate, decided that they don't want to work for somebody else. They don't want to leave their destiny in the hands of somebody else, that they wanted to make their own mark. You may be like me, which was I was unemployable. I didn't graduate high school. I didn't have the education. There was really no other outlet other than work for somebody else and have them dictate my life, or live off the government. Those were not choices that I wanted. Just like you, I had a rebellious spirit. And I felt like, oh, there's this thing called business that all I have to do is get really, really good at falling in love with somebody else's outcome and serve them better than anybody else. And I could feed my family. I could build a life. I could eventually get myself to a place where I gained my own freedom to be able to do the things that are important in life. And so that's what we have in our hands. I believe, it's a gift to be able to go out and have conversations at multiple different levels in different industries with different business owners in different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, to be able to come back to the same conclusion that we are all the same. We all have the same spirit. We all have the same, we're all very different. We look very different. We're in different businesses. We live in different places. We have different stories. We're at different ages. We're at different stages. But at the core of us, there is a spirit that is indomitable, right? It's indomitable. We are rebels. We want to we have our business. We risk We love, we want to serve, we have hearts for other things other than just our business. We have our employees, we have our local communities, we have the charities that we take care of, the schools, the tax base. We are the most powerful group of human beings on the face of the planet and the least connected. Okay. We have our long-term goal here is to build out something called the owner syndicate, and that is for us all to band together, for us to be able to be represented at the federal, state, and local level. That's the long term of what we're doing here. And in so doing, I know that over the next 5 years, as we build out the owner syndicate, the one way that I know to get people to trust us and to trust me and to trust you is to make them money. And so that's why Built to Exit exists. I want you to take your business, to build it to something, to, our target, our sweet spot is helping people sell between 15 and 30 million. Obviously some lower, obviously some higher, but that's our outcome, is for you to be able to reach that level of freedom for you and your family, to be able to then join in the fight, to be able to maintain and to strengthen this diversified income, this true freedom, this true ability for us to remain separate from being dependent on a big corporation who doesn't care about us, or a government that we have to beg for our alms for the poor, for us to maintain this for future generations. That came out of 2020 when we got called non-essential. We are not non-essential. We are $17 trillion of this GDP. We are 60% of the hiring, and we are 90% of the jobs. We are anything but non-essential. And we need to realize that. And the only way that we do is by getting together. And that's the last 6 weeks of my life has proven this at a super deep level. I wanted to bring to you some of the insights that are important as we head into this next phase, as we start to plan for our 2026s, for all of our businesses, as we start to plan for 2026, is to understand the idea of one concept that we're really, really adamant about here with our organization, is this one sentence right in front of you that says everybody exits. How matters. What does that mean? What does that mean to you when we say everybody exits? You look at your life. I can't, this phrase came to me at a funeral. And I was sitting there and I was looking at that casket, and I was looking at the people that loved that man that was in that casket, and everybody telling stories. And I realized that in that casket there was something that did not exist. His business was not in there with him. His vehicle, his house, the things that there was things that were not in there. What was in that casket was a series of impact and relationships and memories that were built by the man that happened to be in that casket. And so the phrase, it hits home. And I have this conversation again, like I said, with thousands of people now over the last 6 weeks, for us to take a look at our lives and go, you know what, everybody exits. This thing called a business, yes, it's important. Yes, it's something that has fed our family, but we forget about the depth and the blessing that it is for us to be able to have this machine, this opportunity, this eye blink of time in history where we can develop and change the stars of our last name. I'm a nobody from nowhere, and you all know that at this point in time. For those of you that are new to the show, I'm a nobody from nowhere. And I have been able to take this thing called business and be able to build a life beyond my wildest dreams. And I've seen it happen over and over and over again. But sometimes we take that for granted. We start to think of it as a burden. We start to think of it as in different ways, and we forget that everybody exits. So we need to focus on the last part of our tagline, which is how matters. How you exit definitely matters, which means today is the day that you should start to be able to add into your brain that you should be building to exit. Not building to impress people on Instagram, not building to drive a car that impresses people who don't like you, not to live in a house or a neighborhood that is more expensive than you can afford to try to impress the same amount of people who talk shit behind everybody's back. And it's to really gain that one understanding that everybody exits how matters, and therefore you're building your business to exit. You're building your business for one word, and that is freedom. Not the fake freedom that everybody talks about. I'm talking about the freedom that says, I now have separated myself from the rest of humanity to be able to have the choice to be able to do the things and experience the things that I want to in life. There's only three real buckets that business owners ever go on once they exit and they have freedom and they have choice back in their life: to start another business, to get involved in charitable experiences, or to experience a lifestyle that they hadn't had before by traveling the seven seas with their loved one. Those are the three levels of freedom: to go do what you want to do next with the people that you love, and to never say this phrase, I have to do this. That's what we're all striving for. That's what we're all striving for with our businesses, whether we can articulate it or not. And so when we look at that idea, right? It's a wide path to involuntary exit, to going out of business involuntarily. Wide path. Why? Because 95% of companies do it. There's I love this slide because there's that legacy lane that you're really trying to go for, and it's less traveled. The path less traveled by that famous poem by Robert Frost. Okay? So, here's the thing. We're going to talk about 5 areas when that are super important, because most people they're like, one day, someday I may exit my business. One day, someday I'm going to decide to sell it. That one day, someday should be today for you. That one day, someday should be right now, that you're going to build your business to exit. Not that you're going to exit. You could keep it for 10 years. You could keep it for 20 years. You could keep it for 30 years. It's not the idea that you have to get rid of your business. It's just that you should always be prepared for exit. And here's 5 really solid reasons why. Number 1, the first D in the involuntary exit bucket is death. Sudden loss, or a business collapses and you don't have succession in place. We've seen this happen over and over and over again. My career began as a turnaround specialist. I am an expert at taking businesses that were once thriving and are almost on the brink of bankruptcy, and being able to bring that back to life and then turn it into something that can become a sale or a solid cash flow. That's my core skill set. And now we've expanded that into a whole lot of other things. But we have people in the turnaround space. We've gotten a lot of phone calls from people that have the breadwinner, the person that was running that company, suddenly passed away, and they leave giant messes for their family. And again, it impacted me over the last 6 weeks as I was face to face with people, as I was having meals with people, as we were having deep conversations, to hear the stories as I told these same slides from stage. And then it impacted people, and they go, you know what? This happened in my life. You know what? This happened in my life. You know what? I'm terrified if something happened to me in my business right now, what I would leave, that mess that I would leave to my family. Well, the debt, the not knowing how to pay things, the business going under, the employees not being able to take over the business. This one concept of exiting your business is building your business to exit means if something does happen to you, you have a plan in place. You have somebody that's going to be able to take it over. There's plans in place. There's somebody that can wind it down, that does not leave your business or your family or the people that you love the most in turmoil, because you didn't do today what you should be doing, which is building your business to exit. Okay. So the next one is divorce. Nobody likes to talk about these things, right? Whether I'm going to die at my desk or something happens to me, or I'm going to go through a divorce, and it's the worst it's the worst time on the face of the planet for you to decide to sell your business when a crisis hits. Okay. If a divorce happens, right? And here's the thing, what I'm telling you, every one of these D's that we're going to go through today, I have experienced. Okay. I have experienced them personally in my life. Partners, people that we've helped that where the main breadwinner dies. I personally went through a messy divorce that affected and impacted my business. In court, it was messy, all those things back in the day. So these things happen. And if you have to liquidate that business, at the last minute, you're going to get pennies on the dollar if you get any money whatsoever. Now is the time for you to prep for your exit. Now is the time for you to be putting systems and processes in place that will protect your stream of revenue and protect your family and be able to make it through the crises they're going to happen in life. They're going to happen. But your responsibility, I heard the best phrase that I ever heard is that things that happen to you in life may not be your fault. But as the leader of your business, as the leader of your family, as the leader of your circle of influence, it is your responsibility to be prepared for those things. And we're going to get to Charlie Munger's thought processes on this here in just a minute, who's one of my heroes. If you get a chance to get one of his books, it's the Poor Charlie's Almanac, one of the greatest books written with the greatest business wisdom that I've ever read in my in my entire life. And he is Warren Buffett's partner, and one of the brightest business minds on the face of the planet that I've ever met. And so he's the brains. I think Warren is unbelievably brilliant as well, but he was more the face, and Charlie Munger was more the brains and strategies in the background. So how about this? Disability. I had 4 very powerful conversations on the road in the last 6 weeks where people were, one gentleman, I can't get very specific because these conversations are very, very private. And he may be watching right now, but suffice it to say this is that disability, an accident, there's always a possibility. These are not things that we want to think about, because as a business owner, one of the things that we carry along with ourselves is this sense of um, inevitability, this sense of invulnerability, like this sense of superpowerness, right? Because we have to be that way. We have to believe these things deep in our soul for us to do this thing called owning a business. This shit is not easy. This is tough. There's sacrifices. There's things that happen. You're competing against the rest of the business world. You're competing against yourself. You're competing against your weaknesses. You're struggling with relationship issues as you're doing this. You're raising children. Trying to be productive. You're trying to you love veterans issues or rescuing children or doing something like that you want to get back to. What you do and who you are and what you've decided or what was born into you is rare, and it's difficult, and it's tough, and there's 90+% of the people that do it that fail. So it's not easy. And the last thing that we ever want to do is think about these things: death, divorce, disability, right? Last thing we want to do, but we must. It's our job. It may not be your fault when these things happen, but it is your responsibility. Disputes. Okay? Disputes, fallouts with partners, investors, employees, family members. Disputes occur all the time. In this world of that we find ourselves in business, okay? Everybody, when we say built to exit, there's some statistics that you need to know. Less than 7% of companies that ever are put on the market ever sell. This is a stunning number to me. The next number that I'm going to tell you is even more stunning. Of those deals that close, 50% of them fall apart post-close. What does that mean? You sign the contract, you may got your first down payment for the business, and then it falls apart afterwards because people don't put any thought into post-integration. We have an entire division of our business that is devoted to making sure that that deal stays together and that the business owner gets every dime that was owed to him or her, and that those jobs are maintained for the people that are left in that merger or that roll up or that acquisition. Okay, these numbers sound daunting, right? And I had a conversation just yesterday with somebody that we're helping through an exit, and it's a very, very large exit. It'll be north of $200 million. That already tried to go through this process one time, and it fell completely apart. I was going through these very same slides with him about his organization. He goes, "Yep, that happened. Yep, that happened. Yep, that happened." And so just because, and think about this, you own a business right now. If you're watching me, you've got some kind of a business. That's just our family, okay? The fact that you're still alive, the fact that you still not alive as a human, but your business is still alive is impressive, right? When we say you are currently, while your doors are open, while you're making money, you're currently 5%, right? You're currently the part of the 5% that has succeeded, that has been able to keep your business running, that you've survived the 9/11s, the COVIDs, the things that come up, that you're now dealing with AI and how is that going to affect and impact and all those kind of things. So congratulations, right? Congratulations on that, and congratulations to you. Let's get into the one of the ones that I think is the most powerful. Disinterest. You just mentally check out. We had a situation where we came in, we got called and from this gentleman, and he goes, "You know what? I've been running this business for, I think it was 8 years at the time." And he said, I can't do it anymore." And this was a business that had put millions of dollars into him and his family's business. And he just got to a place where he's like, all I want to do is just give this to you. Right? All I want to do is just give it away. And we see this all the time. People just get to a place where, and I did a whole entire episode on this, and you can go back and watch it on baby boomers, where they're saying it's the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. No, it's not. It's the greatest destruction of wealth in mankind. And as a boomer or a baby boomer or anybody gets to a place of exhaustion with their business, all of that value dissipates and gets absorbed currently into what I think is unethical capitalism. Bigger businesses absorb that goes up into the Amazons. It goes up into these different businesses, instead of the strength of having a local business, a small and mid-sized business, that decentralized power that you and I wield together in the numbers of 33 million people in the United States. Okay, 10% worldwide, 10% here in the United States. And so we see that dissipation, and I don't, and I what I this area of disinterest, it only happens when the business stops meeting your expectations. It only happens when it stops meeting your expectations, where it's sucking the life out of you, where it's not producing the amount of money that you need or desired or expected. That's a big word, expected. And it just starts to wear you down. We forget sometimes, right? A lot of the work that I do from stage, if anybody has ever seen me, is to reignite that childlike belief that we are capable of all things, that we were granted this mind and this heart and this body and this idea for our business to be able to free and change the stars of us and our family. And that gets beaten down in us because we don't know the entire thing. I went bankrupt 3 times, y'all. That crushed my spirit. I didn't graduate from high school. I had no prospects other than being a slave in the form of being an employee for somebody else, or eventually getting to a place where I had to ask the government to help me because I couldn't do it for myself. That was a non-option for me. It was a non-option. And so, yes, I failed 3 times, but I learned every single time. And then I got an amazing opportunity to go on the road with Tony Robbins. And I met hundreds of amazing business owners that gave me their time. And I asked them questions out of humility. I was I was humiliated by how bad I failed. I failed my family. I was $2 million in debt. I was depressed. I was having panic attacks. I was deathly afraid of my own shadow. I had no other skill sets. I didn't know what to do. And so that time that I was on the road with Tony Robbins, yes, I was one of his top speakers. Yes, I got to do amazing things from stages. But by far and away, the most valuable time that I ever spent with Tony Robbins was with the business owners after I spoke to their team and asked them in humility, will you please go have coffee with me? Can I come to your house? I will take out your trash. I will clean your toilets. If you give me 20 minutes, I had my notebooks of my failure and and I would just ask them, what would you have done in this scenario that I failed at? And so after years with Tony, I came out with 3 new notebooks of what exactly to do. I have gotten paid more because I learned from my failures. I tell people it's very valuable what not to do. The other valuable piece is what to do. And so that started my turnaround career. That then I started buying business for myself. I built my own private equity firm. I exited that in 2019. And now here we are doing what I think that I was built to do, what I love to do the most. And that's to connect with people just like me who are looking for just a little peek into here's what I'm doing, and I know that I could be doing it better. If anybody in your industry is hitting the numbers or having the exits that you want, you can do that for yourself. You just have to learn not only the right things to do, but also the proper sequence and what and how to do them. The next series of videos, the next conversations we're having, the next interviews, we're going to get hardcore into that sequencing so that you have it, so that you have the ability to be able to do so. And then, obviously, if we add any value to you, we'd love to be able to help you prep for exit. There's 5 stages. Number one is assessment of where you are. Number two is get crystal clear on your end game. Number three is then take your machine and optimize it for cash flow while you still own it. That puts you in a position where it's ready to sell. The next phase is pre-due diligence. We call it the gauntlet. For an example, we have 52 videos, to be able to get you ready for that next step. And then horizon, which is what are you going to do beyond that so you don't go in and mess up your exit, right? We built that specifically because I know that a lot of deals fall apart post close. And the reason is because the business owner is not prepared spiritually, emotionally, tax wise, legal wise, post integration strategy, all those kind of things. That's the 5 core deals. And then on the other side of that is the baton gets handed to a brokerage. We hope that we're your brokerage choice. Lots of good brokers out there. Let me change that. No, there's not. There's a few good brokers out there. But then you get into due diligence and post integration, and you need help in those areas. That's really where we want to be able to help you. So here's the 5, just so you have them all on one slide. You can snapshot this or come back to it as you go through this video, either now or in the future. And let's talk about how to deal with these 5Ds, right? You can't predict when they happen to you. You can only be ready when they do. That's the whole point of this entire video. Hope is not an effective strategy, and luck should be never be considered a factor. Let's talk. I told you that we were going to talk about proactively remove the owner dependence in the business, right? Get a management team in place, get systems and process, develop adequate cash reserves, and ensure assets are protected. We talked about this a lot. If you're going to invest in your business, act as if you're borrowing money from the mob, and if you don't pay yourself back, you might lose a pinky finger. I know that's a little morbid, but that's what I want you to do. A lot of people are like, I'm just investing back in the business. Well, you're not investing until you know how much you're putting it in, what's the time frame you're going to pay it back, and how much are you going to pay yourself back. Maintain where you have control over the 5 Ds, okay? Maintain where you have examples or control over those 5 Ds. Now, remember, prepping yourself up, knowing those things that I just gave you as an example of things that you can do, that cash reserve starts to become priority number one. Stop worrying about the car you're driving. Stop worrying about the house that you live in. Stop worrying about the things that are externally impressing other people, because it's not a factor in your success. I will tell you right now, as bluntly, with as much love and passion as I can in my heart, that nobody gives a shit. Okay? The people that do give a shit are the people who will never use you or your business. They will never use you. People don't care. People don't hire you because of the stuff you have. People hire you because of the stuff you can help them have. This problem that you can help them solve in their life. They could give two shits about you. Matter of fact, the more flashy you are, the more stuff you have, the less likely your target audience is to actually do business with you, because they look at it and they go, oh, that person is all about themselves. That person is all about their flash. That person is all about their success. I wonder how they, why they're making so much money and they have so few recommendations on LinkedIn. Why there's not other people talking about them. That there's clues to people who are successful, and they don't care about your life and your situation. The only people that do are people who are never, ever, ever going to spend money with you, number one, and they will always talk shit about you because they are below you. They are below you. This is an extraordinarily powerful lesson for you to learn. Okay, I told you we were going to talk about Charlie Munger. This inversion-based thinking, very, very important to you. Popularized, I guess we have a misspelling there, but popularized by Charlie Munger, Buffett's long-term business partner. Think not of creating success, but what would create failure. My mentor, as many of you know, Keith Cunningham, who is the rich dad character in the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, mentor of mine for well over a decade at this point, right? Well over a decade. And what he said so many powerful things. I've learned so many lessons from him. When we look at this thought process, how do I protect myself against the downturns? How do I take those 5 Ds that we talked about today, and how do I prevent that? Right? His phrase is, not so fast, cowboy. Changed my life, by the way. Write this down. Not so fast, cowboy. What don't I see? It's right there. If you guys could see behind my camera right now, I have it on a big sticky note. Not so fast, cowboy. What don't I see? What that stops me from doing, and what may stop you from doing if you just adopt that WDIS, what don't I see in your life, you'll be caught up in some funnel and you'll be like, oh, okay, what don't I see? I'm going to invest in this marketing thing. I'm going to invest in this funnel thing. I'm going to invest in buying 6,000 books from somebody for some reason. I'm going to do whatever what don't I see about that? Oh, let me go into that and see, has that program ever helped anybody? What am I going to do with that once I invest in that? Me getting a better version of my car. What is that really going to do for me? What if I put that money in my freedom fund instead of spending it on this other thing that maybe hasn't helped people, or I'm going to try to impress people that don't like me anyway. What if, right? What don't I see? That phrase, not so fast, cowboy. What don't I see has rescued me and stopped me from making brash decisions, because for you that's watching this, you're the center of the decision making in your life. Very few people are going to challenge you. They're going to go, you want to spend, $25,000 on that program? Who am I to stop you? It's your business. You have to stop you, right? You have to have people that are around you. If you know my team, you know that all of them are armed. We have 31 people. We have an unbelievable leadership of team of 9 people. Every single one of them is armed with the ability to say, Jason, that's a dumbass idea. Or Jason, what's the outcome that we're looking to achieve? They all have that ability. And each one of my leadership team is incredibly smarter than I am. Incredibly smarter than I am in their particular area. That's the people that you want to have surrounding you. Or if you're a solopreneur and you haven't built that team yet, have that big marker thing up there. Underneath of it is Keith Cunningham. I want him to get all the credit, not me. What, not so fast, cowboy. What don't I see? It helps you in so many ways. Okay. So then protect and prepare against those inverted items that would guarantee failure. You will be so much further ahead of other people for your own business if you do this inversion-based thinking. We're going to end it the same way that we started it. You cannot control when these things may hit you. You cannot control what may happen in the economy. You cannot happen what may happen geopolitically. You cannot really control who's in the White House. You cannot control who's in charge of Congress, who the judges are, the lawmakers, all these kinds of things. But you know what you can do is be prepared by building your business to exit. Very, very important. Okay. So I don't know what was going on there, but anyway, so that's the episode. That's it. Right? I want to go back to this slide here. Which road are you choosing? Because day by day by day, it's a choice. Day by day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, how you run your business, how you plan your life, what things that you prepare for in these 5 areas, what you do in one of my favorite movies, echoes in eternity, right? What you do echoes in eternity. You jump into this inversion-based thinking. Start thinking opposite of everybody that is on that wide road to failure, to involuntary exit. Think differently than everybody that's on that road. Go down that road less traveled by. Go read that poem by Robert Frost. For you, in your life, none of this has anything to do with me. None of this has anything to do with the people that surround you, that are outside of the decision making, that are outside of the risk taking, that are outside of the confusion and the stress that you have to deal with, wondering what you're going to do in the world of AI, what you're going to do in the world of taxes, the world, all of that kind of stuff. You have so much influence, so much more influence over your life, your business, and the direction that you are taking. You're powerful beyond your power, beyond your wildest dreams, right? Marianne Williamson, that poem. And I'm always reminded when I'm on the road and I get to hang out with y'all and I get to hug you and I get to high five you and we get to, yell and scream and we get to talk about our challenges. We get to talk about the things that are going on in our business, to get real specific on tweaking things in our own lives. For us to come to that conclusion at the bottom of that slide, everybody exits, how matters. It's one of the most incredible, most powerful gifts, thought processes that was ever given to me, is that everybody exits. I love y'all. I love that I get to have these conversations with you. I absolutely love the fact that we live in a country where we can gather together, where we can learn from each other, where we can break bread and have conversations. I'm incredibly grateful to the people that invite me to be on their stages and on their podcasts and to have these necessary conversations to solve real problems, to hear real stories of challenges, and to be re-inspired myself by having these conversations as I travel this unbelievable country and this unbelievable world, to look into the eyes of my brothers and sisters of that we all have in common, this thing, this some would call a defect of being an entrepreneur. Mark Anderson, I say this almost every episode. Mark Anderson said it the best. He said, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a business owner, if you are a merchant, you cannot be anything else. So don't fight it. Just learn, what do the greatest merchants, the ones that take that narrow path, the one that take that path less traveled by, how can I be the most powerful version for me and my family, and then for the things that I care about in charity, and then the things that I can influence and impact to make sure that this remains a viable option for the next generation, a viable option to keep people free, for them to change their own stars if they too have the same DNA superpower, I believe, of being a business owner. The owner syndicate is coming. We're going to have a platform based around, we're going to have our own PAC, state, federal, local levels. We're going to build the entire thing out over the course of the next 5 years. We're going to have our own super PAC. We're going to demand that these politicians stand up and protect us and never call us non-essential again. It's going to be on the taxes. It's going to be on regulation. It's going to be on fighting anti-monopoly situations that we find ourselves in these days. It's going to be around finance. You know, why are small and mid-sized business owners not given finance capabilities for their businesses? We give money to everybody. Why not to the people that are actually the tax base? Why not give opportunities and better funding opportunities to people that are $17 trillion of the GDP? Why has no one stepped up to represent the greatest of the Americans, ethical capitalists? Why not? Well, now we are. The owner syndicate. Built to Exit is our starting point. We have an incubator that we're building up. We have the Built to Exit system for those of you that are ready right now. We have the brokerage for those of you that want to sell and be represented on the sell side and not just be surrounded by a whole bunch of jackals that want their percentage out of your sale. So they rush it and you get less than you should. I believe that we are in a golden age for those of us that own businesses. I think we're going to be able to take this AI thing and utilize it for our benefit, but only if we band together and we make sure that the rules that are written now, in the near future, and into the future benefit all of us. Best way you can help: crush it with your business. Get to a place where you have your financial freedom secured so that then your voice can be unimpeded by the control of other people, so that you can speak freely, so that you can act freely, so that you can have an impact on this unbelievable gift that we've all been given. We're duty bound. Our generation, we're duty bound, or it may not live another generation. Less people starting businesses, less people in business, than ever before in history. We need each other. I love y'all. I'm Jason Cisneros. This has been the Built to Exit podcast. Always send your suggestions of things that you want us to talk about, guests that you may want to have on the show. If you yourself have something valuable to add to our thing, send it. right? Share this, do all the stuff. The reason I've been on these stages is because those of you that watch have suggested that I be on these stages. That people that are sharing this message are reaching out to us and letting us know that it's having an impact on their business. That's the only reason I exist. This is not about me. This is about us. And we have to come together and crush it and have each other's back. Find each other on these platforms, do business with each other. I know most of you that are watching that I can see live right now, do business with each other, have conversations, learn from each other, break bread. It's all up to us. I love you all very much. And until next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm Jason Cisneros from my team at Built to Exit. We love you. Have an amazing week. Peace.